I'm going to go over a couple of tickers, starting with SQQQ. When the market is down, this ticker is up. So we ended the day at $10.02, up 3.41%. This is where we are at resistance. You can see the sell-off there. But the next level from where we are takes us to roughly 10.04, so very close. Above that, 10.12. And another level of resistance and a potential take profit area. You can expect people to lock in and leave for sure if we get to this, which is 10.20. To the south side, this is VWAP in the blue line at 991. Below that, the middle of the trend, very close at 988. -2 standard deviations and another level of support, 972, 964, and 956. This is also support here and here. Looking left, you can see the bounce and the buy-in here and here, sell-off here, and I anticipate here. And obviously, when we are here and go down to here, this is now support, and then we can bounce off of that line. The RSI is still hooking up with room to move to the upside before we are overextended. Note the sell, sell, sell. And we have a gap here. I have been tracking this one. When I talked about this ticker on the 15th, we were at 987. There was a gap. When we gapped to the downside, I anticipate this gap to fill to the upside. And look at that. We are getting closer to this because we are in an upward channel. And you see the bounce here and then the sell-off. There are many levels of support and resistance within -2 and 2 standard deviations. So turn on your VWAP, your Bollinger Bands, mark your trend lines. And while I'm here, I'm just going to mark out my horizontal line. I got to turn off the magnet. So I will anticipate price to grind either along here at the middle of the trend and bounce off of this, or follow this line wherever that line will take us, because that will change with whatever price, not price, but whatever time frame that you play. Now let's show you CVS. This ran today as part of the Total Stock Market and Index Fund. I talked about this in my gap and go trades. The reason I actually put this into this gap and go segment is because I liked this on the monthly time frame. It was looking attractive to me. But today we ran up 4.42%. Let me give you some targets. We are right here at resistance. So you know what happens, so you can anticipate that. Obviously, though, we could sell off for another ride up, but the next target, which is very attractive, and I see gaps as an opportunity to both the north side and the south side. So this gap right here. And this will take us to 67.70. I thought it made a great swing trade when I initially talked about it right here at 55.82. Your sell signal there for sure, cracked down, back up again to resistance, and then the cycle repeats itself again. So we've got 56.04. A gap begins at 56.07. Another level of resistance and a potential take profit area, 57.17 and $58, going up to 67.70. But you're going to be in for a joyride. This is not going to come easy. We are still in a downward channel on the 5-minute time frame, making lower lows. The RSI also cracking. Now the next one, see, I like to cover the top runner for Vanguard and then the bottom runner, which happens to be CRM. This fell after the earnings report, unfortunately, although the company made tons of money. That's how it goes. You don't meet the Wall Street expectations, word on the street isn't good, and then people panic. But that panic is also a good area to possibly buy in. Other people's panic is other people's, what do you want to call it? Opportunity. And that's exactly what Murat says, Trader Murat. He says, now is a potential buy opportunity. He clued me in before earnings because I don't track the stock every day. And obviously he has a vested interest in looking at it or is looking at it for a better buy-in. So that buy-in is getting there. But let me go over the price target first. So we are at 218.01, down a whopping 19.74%. We got clobbered because of earnings. So we reported $9.133 billion, and the street wanted $9.151 billion. And so that sent the stock tanking. Oh, and by the way, just a second. Let me go back to this area. The forecast is now 307.82, but if you can stomach it, the next target after that is still $382, which represents a 75% return from where we are. Now, news-wise, what did I see earlier? Oh, here. Maintained at neutral by Citigroup. Price cut to 260 from 323. But if you play the long game, you typically will always win. Where else? I looked at something else. But anyway, check out the news for that. So we are right here. A gap forms to the upside because we gap down, and whenever we fill, it will fill to the upside and close out these gaps, but we are not there yet. So to the north side from where we are takes us back to the middle of the trend. And from where we are, this is now resistance. We have to bust through this area. So there's going to be a battle between buyers and sellers. So be aware of that. Then the next target will be 2 standard deviations, 255.44. And then this gap will close out at 3 standard deviations, roughly 271.16, and then 285.46. We are not in that channel, not in the zone, just something to be aware of when we see better days ahead. Now to the south side, VWAP takes us to the blue line, which we are very close to at 217. Wait, let me make this bigger so I can see. Yeah, 217.03. In post, we're at 217.50. Post market. And then the next level of support here as well, 214. To the south side, 194.06. 178.62. 163.54. So I talked about looking left. I talked about this gap when I talked about this stock the other day when it was 272.29. And look at this huge fall. Incredible. But it's your gain potentially. Oh, I can't even look at this. This gap that I have been tracking since November 30th. See how the market can just whip you around? That is nuts. All right. This took us out, which is no longer a threat to our account to the south side. So we are done with 230. And that's what Murat also pointed out to me when he talked about this stock before earnings. He said there was a warning, there was a gap to the south side, and this is that gap, and this one as well. So I will delete this and delete this and extend this next gap is what we'll be eyeing. Let me flip this to the 15-minute and get a bigger picture. So that will take us to 167.90, but that's going to take possibly a while to get there. But if we continue to go south, that could touch at -2 standard deviations somewhere in the middle of June, possibly, if we continue to go back down. But we could kiss this, and this will act as support as well, and then boom, also go up. The probability hits, your probability gets better right here if we hit this line, this blue line, and this line for a winning trade to bounce up. Okay, that is the 15-minute. Back to the 5-minute. Option R to reset. All right, did I give you that target? Yeah. So 193.75-ish, 178.29-ish, and 163.03. If you play just the standard deviations will wipe out the gaps. So if you don't play gaps, it's going to get covered by playing this line, or this line. But again, for me, I always anticipate price to stay within -2 and 2. And if you play that, it's a safer bet. And these would be outliers, your buy signals. These are your sell signals if you're trying to get in and out. Okay, that's CRM. Thank you to Marat for pointing that out. So it's looking better, but this is even better for me if I get it down here. But sometimes you never get there, and you just have to trade, obviously, the price action. So now I will do a trade that I got stopped out of, EBIXQ. This is a very scary ticker. Do not trade this. Danger, danger, danger. So let me move this out of the way so you can see. I'll go over price targets first. Let me mark this out. I forgot to do that. So we are at $47. See how tiny this ticker doesn't get traded very much. Only the volume, 44,000 trades. Average volume, 89. So if it's hard to see, but you will, if you want to see the candles better, just click that. So now you can see where we are more easily. Let me move this. All right. So first, your price targets. So we are at 2 standard deviations and resistance. The next level of resistance for me will be right here, and another potential take profit area, 49.88, 52.76. To the south side, VWAP and support, the blue line, 43 cents, 41 cents. The middle of the trend, 40 cents. -2 standard deviations and another level of support and potential buy-in area, 34 cents, 31 cents, and which we won't get to, 28 cents. But if we do, it's the wick that will get us down here and get bought up. See that, this wick? If only I had set my buy just 3, if I'm here, sometimes I'll just set a buy order here, or here, just praying that if it hits, I get it. If not, no big deal. And had I done it here, your buy-in would have been 30 cents. All right, so those are your price targets. I bought in at this level, and it didn't make it down to here. So I did a trade after it fell down, and I could have sold out here close to this level or here with the wick because I set my sell limits ahead of time and I forgot to adjust it. So anyway, finally, after 3 days of watching this thing like a hawk, I kept changing my levels. I got stopped out. It hit a sell limit for me. I put it in at $47. I had it at 48 at one time, and for a while it was the high was at 0.4650. I didn't take profit, and I wanted to, and I regretted it. I'm like, no, I've waited this far. I'm going to set it up with just a hair higher, and I got stopped out today. So Oh, this for me is, let me double check the coordinates. I bought in at 3885 and I sold at 0.48. So that is a 23% return. So now I am not a buyer at these levels up here. I don't buy high to ride it and watch it like a hawk and scalp or anything like that, or at least I try not to. Maybe occasionally I'll do that, but I just set my limits, and if I trigger out, I trigger out. So I will not be in again until we either get to this level or, better yet, down here. I'm a player here, here, and here. And sometimes it takes so long to get back down at whatever price that may be, because again, the lines change, but I need to be patient, and that's how I like to trade. But you can see I have been in this trade. Let me show you this on the daily. I've been in and out of this thing many times. This thing has flushed us down the toilet, and then, you know, from here, look at this, down, back up again, down, up. I mean, we're all over the place. My pink lines again are the buy-in lines, and my sell lines are the green lines here, 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 and here. So on the daily, we are turning up with room to move to the upside. Weekly, still dragging our feet. And monthly, ooh, looks like we're going down still. So I'm going to anticipate some price action to the south side on the monthly, which provides an opportunity to get in at a better price. All right, that is a look at EBIX, SQQQ, CRM, and CVS. Have a great trading day.